welcome everybody. Hi Anish, and a few other people will join. Hi Esret, Ruth, everybody. Could you guys hear my voice clearly? Good. Okay, that's great. Well, thank you guys for joining Angelswing's Tech Recruiting Event 2021. We would like to tell you today a bit about our company, how we got founded, what we've been working on, and what we will work on in the future. So I hope that this time will make you a bit more interested about our company, as well as about our industry and our product. So without further ado, I'm going to present and I'm going to start sharing my screen. So just wait a minute, please. All right. Now, can you guys see the screen? Okay, that's great. So I'm going to start with the company overview. So we are located in Seoul, South Korea, and we've been started this company for about 5 years. And we are known as B2B Korean Contech startup. So if you guys don't know what Contech means, it's a construction technology. So we are innovating the construction industry at this moment, make our user work much more better than before by providing unprecedented data. And these are some of the timeline that we've been walked through. So we started the company after 2025. There was an earthquake and we wanted to help the Nepal situation with creating building drone, unmanned aircraft. And we wanted to use it for monitoring the disaster. So that's how this project Angelswing got started. And after that, we changed the project to a company. And then we basically launched the company after that. After that, we wanted to find industry value because we had to grow our company to create bigger impact in the society. So we found the market in the construction industry where drone can be really beneficial for our construction workers, which is our client. And we did to create 10 users in early 2019, which are a prestigious company in South Korea, mostly really big companies. And then they start to use our platform more and more. In 2021, and I'm very proud to say, our goal is to grow 10x from a previous year. And we are also trying to launch services that can serve more industries and also address the environmental problems within this year. So exciting things are basically ahead of us, and we're very excited about this year. So to tell you a bit more about our company's mission, the statement, innovative technology for all, this actually remains the same as when Angelswing was first founded. And throughout the year, we want to make technology more accessible, as well as create innovative technology that can serve many people. So that's the mission that we have. And throughout recovery projects in 2015, we found the possibility of using drone as well as photogrammetry technology to create bigger impact than what it was before. So we are focusing on these technologies that's going to be a game changer in many industries. Values that we value the most. Number one is an empowerment. So we try to empower each other to create bigger values. We also put emphasis on the team. So collaborative, that's another important value that we really appreciate. And also we want to be innovative as possible. We want to be pioneers who actually change the world by doing what we love to do and what we're good at. And we want to take initiative and be proactive and about our growth and about any things that we encountered. As well as we pursue excellence in what we do. So we want to deliver the best value and quality to our user and our customers. So these are the stuff that we really values. So, and next is actually our philosophy. So someone might ask, like, why building a product rather than providing services? So we want to make a product that conveys the benefit of technology to many people. So that's actually one of the reasons we want to make product that can serve many people. And yeah, that's number one. And for whom we are building for. So currently we are concentrating on solving construction industry problems, and we pursue products that give real value to the industry. So that's something that we are focusing on at this moment. And what is the next step? We believe the technology and the product we are developing for the industry can be used for not only solving the issues of the industry, but also solving the issues of the world, like the disaster and environmental problems. So in 2021, we tried to create another project that can address these issues, and we are going to launch them in 2021. And to tell you a bit more about our product, so before I talk about the product, we have two different stuff. Number one is actually our platform, which is our product. Number two is our service. And these are basically helping our user to onboard on our platform to start using our platform much more efficiently. So there are some services that's involved in order to make our platform more used by our user and well used by user. And that's the reason service exists. And this is our product. It's a web-based platform that reconstructs the physical job site into a digital world. Digital world means our computer, our laptop. And the platform lets users manage, measure, and track progresses with powerful analytic tools that we provide within this platform. And a few moments later, I'm actually going to demo our product in front of you guys. So bear in mind, it will be very exciting. And this is something that we try to be, which is something called reality capture platform. So if you guys haven't heard about reality capture, it's basically a tools that can capture reality information. One example is something that you guys are already familiar with, which is a smartphone with a camera. It can take photos, and it can actually capture the reality and make it into a digital form. And these kind of reality capture tools will become more popular, as well as to become more well used in the industry. Another type of the reality capture tools is a laser scanner, and drone is another tool that can capture the reality. So these tools become a very important assets, as well as the data that's not been generated by the industry. But now these tools are becoming more useful and more widespread across the industry. This will become much more important. And we want to become a platform that can capture all this information into one platform and creating an insight for our users. So that's something that our product is where we are headed. And these are the technologies that we use to make our product. So it's a convergence of technologies with a different fields. Number one is on IT, cloud computing, web development. Number two, photogrammetry. So basically, we turn 2D photos into a 3D reconstructed model. So that's a photogrammetry part, as well as an AI. So we use computer vision, and we use deep learning to detect something within our platform. And we also heavily utilize GIS and survey technologies that's making the data much more accurate than before, as well as something that's useful. So without further ado, I'm going to show you our platform in different methods. So now you guys are seeing our platform at this moment. So I'm going to show you the 2D version of our platform. So in the construction site, it's always been hard to see what's going on the other side of the construction site, as well as to know what's the progresses of the construction site you must visit. But now with the click of a mouse and some zoom level here, you can see what's going on very clearly compared to any Google satellite images. So I can turn this off to show you what the Google satellite image looks like. So this is actually 100 times much more higher resolution than the Google satellite. So you can see how it changes and how it is now at this moment. As well as you can compare to data sets like this. So you know what's going on in our construction site. Our client used this feature, very useful, to track progresses in the construction site. So not only we can show you in detail like this, but also we can show you something also amazing. This product is actually using photogrammetry technology that actually turns 2D images into a 3D model. So now you are looking at a 3D model of the job sites. And because we have 3D model, basically you have a 3D perspective of the job site, and user can measure something that was hard to measure before. For example, let's go on to this place. And these are the material that is actually used in the job site and that has been piled up over here to be used in the future. In order for users to measure how much volume this part is, user has to walk across this place using GPS and actually place GPS about 40 to 30 minutes, and then has to come back to the office and calculate how much volume that is using CAD and some basic math algorithm. However, our platform basically turned this into a simple click and let users to measure how much this volume is with just few click of a buttons like this. And this will calculate how much is this volume, and it tells you based on the 3D model. So there are a lot of features that are in the platform. I'd like to show you a bit more. So this is actually what user wants to build. And basically they can overlay their CAD file, their final design into our system, and they can compare as is, which is the reality, and also compare with the as plan, their CAD files. So this actually is very useful for our users to see the progresses as well as to see any changes that needs to be made before they build something next. And this is a short product demo that I show you. So basically our platform turn drone capture images. So basically this image is generated from drone into much more meaningful insight as well as meaningful data. And we are not only focusing on the industry, but also we want to utilize this technology to addressing several issues that are popping up in the world. For example, recently there was an earthquake in Indonesia, and our platform is officially used by BNPB, Indonesia's official disaster management government department. They're using our platform to monitor their disaster-struck region with a higher resolution image like this, so that they can decide and make an actionable decision based on the data rather than guessing or rather than visiting the job site. And we want to use our technology to address several environmental problems. For example, in Cambodia, we've been monitoring the Cambodia's dump site. And these dump sites can be detected by the satellite images. And we are also planning to detect it using drone images to make a very accurate volume changes over a period of time. So this is a product demo that I just show you guys. I hope that makes you a bit more interested in about what we do. And I'm going to pass this mic to Yogi, our lead backend engineer, and he will explain a bit about our culture as well as about our technologies. So Yogi, I'll pass it on to you.
All right. Thank you, Peter, for the opening keynote and also for explaining our product. So a bit about myself. My name is Yogi. I come from Indonesia, and I'm currently working in Angelswing as the lead backend engineer. As Peter said, I will explain a bit more about our product's technology, the things that is inside our product, and also a bit about the culture in our team. So I will share my screen in a minute. Okay, you guys can see it, right? Okay, so first I will talk a bit about our technology stacks. So most of our ecosystem is hosted in AWS. And in this time, I would like to spotlight two of the services that we utilize a lot in our system, which are AWS ECS, Elastic Container Service, and also AWS Batch. So for the ECS, Sorry. Hmm? Okay. Okay, sorry for the technical disturbance. So for the ECS, so we deploy all of our microservice within our system using ECS. There are a lot of reasons for that, and some of them are as follows. So the first one is to this service allow us to utilize Fargate, which is like the serverless options for provisioning your server in AWS. So with this uh, tool, with these options, we don't need to care about like the physical instance. We just need to specify the computing resource that we want, and AWS will manage it for us. So that's really helpful. And also it's a secure, it helps us secure our system, because the way ECS works is it's isolation by default. So when we launch our container, it will automatically put it inside a VPC, and we can handle the security within the VPC. And also it's easy to scale, because when you deploy your microservice as ECS, you can easily launch and terminate tasks to scale up and down your system. So if you need more instances, you can simply start a new task based on the existing one. So that's about ECS. And as Peter already showed in his demo, we have a lot of data formats that we handle in our system. And those data need some pre-processing to be able to be visualized in our platform. And to do that, it's not really feasible for us to keep doing it by ourselves. So we do it automatically using AWS Batch. And the reason this is a good option for us is because it's cost optimized, and the provisioning of the instance is based on what we need. So when we need to execute a certain task, then AWS will spin up a certain instance, and it will do the jobs that we specify. And also the containerization using Docker. So in the batch jobs definition, we specify a certain Docker images to make sure that the environment are all identical. So we can be sure that all the results will be identical within each other. So those two are the interesting services that we use a lot in our system. And also I will explain a bit more about a bit domain specific tools and file formats that we use a lot in the platform. So as you see in Peter's demo, our platform works a lot with geolocation data. So we need to be able to show and utilize the information of where exactly a certain data is. And one of the file format that we use a lot is a GeoTIFF, which is a TIFF file, so an image file that you guys already know, but it's embedded with a georeferencing metadata. So like what is the projection system, and what is the coordinates of this file, and etc. And yeah, so we work with this file a lot, and there is a tool that I want to like share to you guys, which is GDAL. This is a powerful open source tool to work with this file format. So you can do a lot of things with this library, like reprojecting a certain file to another reprojection, or cropping it, or getting information of a certain pixel and things like that. And yeah, so and another tool that is also interesting that is related to our platform's domains is called Geoserver. So it's an easy and reliable method to search spatial data. So as I mentioned in my previous slide, so we do a lot of pre-processing to visualize our data, but actually with this tool, that needs for pre-processing can be eliminated, because this tool will do that for you. So it implements industry standard protocol for serving map files, and also it has really good interoperability, because it supports a lot of file formats as its inputs, and it also can output multiple format of files depending on what you need, like image file or KML file, etc. And there is one more technology that I would like to share, which is point cloud. as Peter shared about the reality capture. Uh, so drone and laser scanner and a tool called laser scanner are part of the uh, tools for reality capture, and it generates a file that is called point cloud, which is basically it's just a set of data in 3D space. So it has X, Y, and Z, but each of those points contain a lot of data. So in our case, it can be color, it can be the coordinate system, the actual coordinate system of the points. And if you see in the image of this slide at the bottom right of the slide, it looks like some 3D, but it actually consists of many, many small points that contain its own information. And there is also an open source tool that is really useful to work with this file format, which called PDAL. So before it's GDAL, now it's PDAL. So it can receive a lot of different file extensions. So point cloud itself is just, I can say it's like a concept, but there are actually a lot of file extensions of point cloud, and this library can handle most of them. And it can also rewrite those files to another format that we need, even including the GeoTIFF that I mentioned before. And also it provides a lot of functionality to chunk, to filter, and to merge multiple point clouds. So this tool is really helpful for things like machine learning, or if you want to process your point cloud data distributedly. So those are a brief description about the stack and also some interesting technologies that we work a lot in Angelswing's product. Now I will go to explaining a bit about our team's culture and how we work together. Yeah, so this is our team. Where these photos are taken when we did our recreation. So we are a global team that consists of members from different countries. For now, we have people from South Korea, obviously, and Indonesia and Nepal, and also from the US. So some interesting cultures about us. The first one is no language barrier. Obviously, because the company is located in South Korea, most of the people are main language are Korean, but we always strive to accommodate members that have difficulties with Korean or even English with a lot of effort. Some of them is using technical effort. So we have this bot called Yang Pago, which will always like translate automatically your Slack message, like you can see in the screenshot. And also we, during the meeting, if it's done in a certain language, we also try to do some manual translation by some of our members. And also we try to make our documentations as bilingual as possible. So both Korean and English. And also as will be explained later, we have remote working employees, and this event will also is looking for remote employee as well. So we strive to make our environment remote working friendly by having webcam and speakers on every meeting room. And also we do Google Meet on every meeting. So even for like some events that are just for fun, we also do some Google Meet. And we optimize our communication, our written down communication through Slack, documentations, and obviously issue tracking system. And also our team try to always learn something new. So we do a lot of like sharing sessions. It can be technical, it can be non-technical, it can be some fields that are unrelated to our platform even. So we do this like as a company and sometimes within the teams. As you can see in the screen, in the first photo on top, you can see we are sharing about a certain technology with our team members. And also and also in our team, we have equal opportunities to be heard and to take leadership. So maybe you guys have heard a lot about horizontal structure and things like that. And in Angelswing, we actually embodies that. So no matter you are a lead or a junior member, you can always voice your opinion or your concern about our team or about our product or suggestions about features, and you will get your opportunities to take a lead on some task, whether it's development task or just some activities tasks. And also we are fun and friendly team. It's a bit uneasy to say yourself as a fun and friendly, but that's the truth. So we do a lot of recreational activities, even in the daily work days. Like on top left, you can see us playing mobile racing game, and on the right we play FIFA, and we also have a table tennis table in our office that we use a lot on our spare time. So yeah, that's about it for our uh, a bit about our product's technical information and also about our team. If you have any question, you can leave it on the chat and we will go through them later uh, after the sessions. And I will give the mic to our research engineer for the live talk with our engineers. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you, Yuki, for an amazing second session. So now we'll be heading on to the third session of the event. My name is Jackie, and I'm the research engineer at Angelswing. I joined last around April, and since then I've been working as a research engineer here. And currently Angelswing is looking for international engineering talent. So that is why we hosted this event. And it is our ultimate goal within this year to have an R&D center within Nepal as well. So that is sort of the trajectory that we're going at. So today I'll be the host of the third session of our event, which is a live talk between our engineers. We will have our backend engineer, Ayush, from Nepal, and our front-end engineer, Shabriya, from Indonesia. So that was my self-introduction. So maybe Ayush, could you please give us a brief introduction of yourself?
You guys can hear me, right? Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever you are. So before I begin, I'd like to apologize in advance if there's any background noise. So I live nearby a street, so it's kind of noisy. So I'm Ayush. I am one of the backend engineers at Angelswing. I joined Angelswing on 2018 September, and I've been working with Angelswing ever since. So as Jackie mentioned, did he mention? I don't know. I am one of the remote workers, which means that I live in Nepal and I work remotely from Nepal. From Nepal. So yeah, I've been doing that for over 2 years now. That's it for my introduction. Back to you, Jackie.
Okay, thank you, Ayush. So Briya, could you also give us a brief introduction of yourself?
Okay, thank you, Jackie. I hope you guys can hear me, right? Yeah, so my name is Briwa. I'm from Indonesia. Joined Angelswing on November 2020, which is 3 months ago. I had been working remotely from Jakarta since then, but recently I got my visa ready and have just been relocated to Seoul. My plan ended 3 days ago, actually. So right now I'm doing a self-quarantine in Seoul. And yeah, I'm just happy to be here to share my experience of being a front-end team member. Thank you. Back to you, Jackie.
Yeah, Briya, it's really nice to have you in Korea. So as Briya said, he's been working in Indonesia remotely, and now he's recently been relocated to Korea to join the team at the office. So Briya, so how did you join Angelswing in the very beginning? You joined last November. So I was wondering how did you find Angelswing and maybe what made you join the team?
Right. So my previous job is actually also a startup company. So when I left the company, I always wanted to join another startup company, right? Because I like the culture. I mean, you've seen from Yogi's presentation earlier about the good stuff about startups, right? And the previous company that I work in is also dealing with visualization. Well, it's a different way of visualization, but it's something that I'm familiar with, something that I think I could contribute more. I also like small-sized startup, and lastly, I like Korea. And so all those reasons combined made me want to pursue my career in Angelswing. I found a job on one of the Korean job sites, I would say, and yeah, through the interviews and finally got accepted, and now I'm here. So thank you.
Thank you. It's really nice to have you, Briya. So as Peter mentioned earlier, Angelswing has started after conducting multiple projects in Nepal, and also pursuing projects in disaster relief and whatnot. And so Angelswing has deep ties with Nepal. And so we have our backend engineer who's remotely working from Nepal as well, Ayush. So Ayush, could you also explain to us how you ended up joining Angelswing?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Jackie. So yeah, after the 2015 earthquake, Angelswing did an event at Kathmandu University. It was about building, designing, and operating a UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle. So I have like a good relationship with KU students. So I heard about Angelswing first time from in that event, and later I heard from a mutual friend that Angelswing was hiring a backend engineer, and it was like a right fit for me. First, I was like a little reluctant because I didn't have proper connection or proper communication with international company before, but I just decided to go for it. Later, yeah, the same process with everything, every hiring process, right? So I did an interview, there was a test, and again, there was an interview. And after that, I finally got accepted as a backend engineer at Angelswing. And as you know, I'm still here. So yeah, thank you for the question. Back to you, Jackie.
Yeah, so Ayush, you've been working with Angelswing for the past 2.5 years, and you've been remotely working all your time since. So could you please explain to us maybe what is it like to do remote working at Angelswing?
Thank you for the question. So work is work wherever you are, either it's at the office or it's at home, right? But apart from that, there are like pros and cons about working remotely. The pros would be like, I don't have to commute for now, and that saves a lot of time as well as resources for me. And I like working in an isolated environment, which is my room for now. And like, yeah, so, but because of being physically away from the team, it's sometimes difficult to put your ideas through, or yeah, to get the communication through, right? But I believe that I have developed a good communication as well as documentation skills. So when you talk about working remotely, yeah, there are a lot of people that prefer on-site work, but I don't really mind working remotely because yeah, the environment is suitable. And yeah, and regarding the communication, through Slack communication, through documentation, and through meetings, it's hectic sometimes, but yeah, you will eventually get through it, and you will develop a skill. And I believe that I've been using those tools to break down the barrier of physical distance. So yeah, it's fun. It's hectic. It's with every work, if you be honest. So yeah, thank you for the question. Back to you, Jackie.
Thank you, Ayush. So I've been working with Ayush for almost a year now, but haven't seen him in face, so on person, but it feels like I've known him forever. So actually, I think remote working, in the case of Ayush, is really effective, and he's been with Angelswing for the past 2.5 years, so it's great to have him on the team. Briwa, who's recently relocated to Korea, also has been working remotely from Indonesia for the past couple of months. So maybe I'll ask a question to Briya. How do you collaborate with your teammates? And maybe in terms of your communications and all that, how do you really work with your team?
Right. So thank you for the question, by the way. As a front-end team member, well, just for the information, the front-end team is actually quite small. There are only 3 of us. So usually we work on one project alone, right? We work solo on each project, but from time to time, you would gather around and then discuss about things that we could improve in the code base. That happens usually on Slack or in an impromptu meeting, right? We just fire up a Google Meet and then we talk, right? Just to in terms of updating your team members, we have daily updates, and sometimes we also have weekly updates where we would sit around, talk about our progresses, things that is blocking us from completing our tasks, so that you can help the teammates. And also, as I just mentioned earlier, it's the documentations. Log everything on Slack so that you can keep track of what is being discussed. And we also have PR reviews, obviously, so where we would check each and everyone's code, see if we have things that we can improve, encourage them to code a little bit better and stuff. I think that's pretty much the gist of it. So yeah, thank you. Back to you, Jackie.
Okay. So Ayush, you've been working on a lot of projects since you joined Angelswing, and I imagine there are a bunch of projects that you can remind yourself about, but what was maybe your most interesting project you carried out so far at Angelswing?
Okay, so yeah, there is one called DBBC. It's a little short form for what we work. It's design-based volume calculation. So earlier Peter showed you about drawing a polygon and computing the volume, right? So it's similar to that, but it's like comparing the CAD design or the DXF design with the actual survey. I think it is one of the most used and most important feature that our client look forward to using. And it was quite a big endeavor. And I mean, we all worked through it rigorously, and we did a lot of research, we did a lot of testing, and then we finally have a solution that gives the client what they're actually looking at. So if I have to say, then design-based volume calculation is one of the most interesting, most tedious, to be honest, but most satisfying project that I did when I'm working at Angelswing. Back to you, Jackie.
Okay, thank you, Ayush. So it sounds like a lot of CAD, a lot of GIS, and a lot of these tools that are being used in developing that feature. So yeah, it's definitely one of the most loved feature on our platform. And so I'll sort of direct the next question to Shabriya. And so Bria, what is the current feature that you're working on? Maybe you can share with the audience your current work that you're doing these days.
All right. So currently, I'm in a project with a couple of team members to improve the performance in terms of rendering the map, right? Well, I think the audience have seen our platform. It is currently working fine, but we are finding ways to improve it in terms of the performance, the speed, how people use it. Because I think we all know that user experience is the most important thing when the user is using the app, and it's not easy to keep them enthusiastic enough to use our product if it's slow, right? So we are finding ways to improve it. But in terms of the project itself, it's a bit unique because it's not only just improving on the front end level, because we are also involving back end where we could find different types of data to process and then to render on the front end, so that it's faster at the end when it's presented to our users. So it's not the conventional way of front end optimization proposed, but it's more like a collaboration kind of effort. I guess that's how I would put it. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you, Brian. So you're currently working in quarantine right now in Korea, and we really hope to see you soon in office. But maybe you can tell us a little bit about the day in life of being an engineer at Angelswing. Like, what is your day like from the very morning to maybe the afternoon?
Right. So I think typically my day starts with opening the laptop, obviously, and then turning up Slack, checking messages from yesterday, and I would do my daily update. That's where I would let the whole company know that I would be doing this, things that I didn't complete, maybe meetings I would have, so that they can walk their schedule around me if they need me, and things that I wanted to accomplish, right? And yeah, then I would go about my day, just doing the work as usual. Whenever there's a meeting, I would attend them. Usually, it's the weekly stand-up meeting, as I said, right? Where I would update verbally, meet the whole front-end team members, and then update them. And we also would sometimes have the weekly review meeting where everyone in the company sits down together, and then just to hear everyone else's progress, things that they have been developing, things that they achieve, feedback from users and stuff. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Jackie, back to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bria. So I think most, if not many of the audience are consisted of potential applicants to Angelswing and someone who is very much interested in applying and becoming a team member. So maybe Ayush, if you can start with you, maybe if you can elaborate on some of the requirements and qualifications for being a backend engineer at Angelswing.
Thank you for the question, Jackie. So yeah, so since you'll be applying for the backend engineer, right? I mean, the core requirement or the core qualification would be good programming skills, right? Regardless of framework, regardless of language, having a core core programming skills would really make a huge impact. So our tech stack for the backend engineer is Ruby on Rails, Python, AWS, shell scripting, PostgreSQL. So those are really those skills are really good to have. Apart from the tech stack, apart from programming and stuff like that, I personally believe that the good qualification or good qualification would be good communication skills, regardless either it's verbal or written. I think getting your points through, as well as explaining what you did in terms of either verbally or in terms of written is very useful when you have when you are working with a team, right? And then documentation skills, as well as Peter mentioned earlier, as one of our core values, like innovative, right? We try to do innovations which requires working on something that you never worked before. So you need to be open to any challenges. So research and development is goes parallelly with a backend engineer. So sometimes you will be provided with a challenge that you never seen, and being open to it and doing everything you can to solve it will go a long way in Angelswing. So yeah, these are I think these are for the front-end engineers as well, but for the back-end engineer, I think these are the required qualification or preferred qualification, in my opinion. Back to you, Jackie.
All right, thank you, Ayush. So now that Ayush has briefed a little bit about becoming a backend engineer at Angelsink, maybe Bria could tell us a little bit about the requirements and qualifications for a front-end engineer.
Okay, so I think some of the audience have probably seen our front-end job description, right? But I'm just gonna iterate it anyway. So we mainly work with React.js and TypeScript, and so it would be preferred if you know all of them. But we'll see. We're gonna see your CV and your test result anyway. And we also work. We also use front-end technology in general, like HTML5, CSS, and stuff like that. And I guess I would say that our platform that we are developing is not a typical front-end kind of work, because it's a little advanced, where we would deal with Canvas and WebGL. So I would say some minimum experience, professional working experience preferred, especially because we have our own set of flow, code reviews, working with mockups and adhere to the workflow, the agile methodology. And also, I would say, apart from those that are written on a GD, as I said, it should be preferred if you're someone that has a good communication skill, because it's important to ask the right questions, to know when and how to ask, because this is not something that is pretty common. Geospatial data and work with technologies that you're not familiar with. Maybe you're not studying this at school anyway, right? So you have to know how to research, how to solve problems, and above all, I guess you have to also be curious at all times, because you would want to find innovations, or different ways to approach things. Sometimes when the problem is laid out to you, there is no fixed solution yet, so you have to come up with one. You're going to do a lot of brainstorming, a lot of research. So I think being curious would really help in solving some of these problems. So I guess that would be it. That's just how I see it. Thank you, Jackie.
Okay, thank you, Shibriya. So before we move on to maybe the last question of this session, I know a lot of the applicants that have responded on the RSVP form have applied to a research engineer position. So maybe I will personally explain a little bit about the requirements and the qualifications of a research engineer here at Angelswing. So we have a small research team here at Angelswing. Actually, it's a solo team right now, consisted of myself, and the research team actually started last July. So it's a pretty new team, but we've really been trying to make innovations and make real dedication to the product as well, even as a research and development team. So maybe I'll introduce one project that we've worked on throughout the year last year. So we've primarily been working on detecting different objects within the drone aerial source photos that we have collected at our job sites. And we've been specifically detecting targets called ground control points, which are very important in terms of ensuring the accuracy of the data that has been generated by drone photogrammetry. And so, in fact, this research project has been developed into a product, and it's actually being in a beta testing stage right now. So it's helping with the data processing pipeline that we have here at Angelswing, and it's going to help with improving the speed of the entire pipeline. So that's one of the projects that we've done. We've also been drafting a research paper based on the project that we've done. So that's one of the things that we do here at Angelswing. And so becoming a research engineer not only requires good programming skills and exposure to deep learning frameworks such as TensorFlow, PyTorch, and whatnot, but you also have to be very eager, and you have to have the initiative to start your own project and to discover projects. So it's not only about programming and making a product, but it's also about really being curious and being really passionate about the product that we make and the industry that we are in. And as you've seen with Peter's presentation, we not only deal with simple 2D images, but we also deal with 3D orthomosaics, with point cloud data, with digital surface models, and all these data types have their potential, and we are trying to find the most use out of these data types. So it is the research team's role to sort of find the needs of our customers and also look into what kind of technology is really important to our customers and to our products. So that would be sort of what a research engineer would do here at Angelswing. So hope that answers some of the questions that some of you may had. So maybe I'll direct the last question to Ayush. So a lot of these individuals in the audience are interested in joining Angelswing, and maybe Ayush, could you please give us a little bit of an advice as to how they can prepare joining Angelswing, and what kind of experience would really help them to become a team member with us?
Thank you for the question, Jackie. So yeah, I'm going to repeat myself from the previous question. Yeah, be open to any challenges, right? So again, repeating myself. So we have different innovations going on. We have a lot of problem to solve, and being open to challenge is always going to be like a top mark in Angelswing. And having programming skills, good programming skills, as well as problem solving skills. So most of the time, we will have a certain library or already developed tool to solve our problem, but it's not always that way, right? Sometimes you have to build your own solutions. So one of the features that we developed ourselves was elevation profile, which was not mentioned, but it's a good feature, believe me. So, but so the idea is you should have a good problem solving skills, right? That's one of the things that will take you on a long road. And having good communication skills and documentation skills. I mean, you don't have to have like you don't have to follow a standard format to do a documentation. You can write it any way you want, but it has to be like descriptive. It has to define what you did and stuff like that. You don't have to like follow a hard rule and stuff like that. And I think for any engineers, regardless front end or back end, a good to have feature in a applicant would be working knowledge of GIS. It's not a must, but it will make your like transition easier in Angelswing, I believe, because as the demo showed, as Jackie mentioned, we deal with a lot of GIS and DXF related stuff. So having a knowledge of that would be a plus point. If you don't have it, it's not a deterrent, trust me, but it's a good to have feature. So I think that's it. Back to you, Jackie.
Okay, thank you, Ayush. So I think this will conclude the live talk with our engineers, Ayush and Briwa. Thank you for the talk and thank you for the advice. So with the last 10 or so minutes, I think we will answer some of the questions from the audience. I know a lot of you are present here in the Zoom meeting. So we would really like to hear from you and to answer your questions. So maybe you can write some questions down in the chat box in the Zoom link, and we would answer them as we go. Before we move to some of the live questions, we will answer some of the questions that have been asked on our RSVP form. Make sure you jot down any questions that you have for us in the Zoom chat box so that we can answer that live with you. So the first question is from the RSVP form. What do you think about drone innovation about 5 or 10 years later? Maybe Peter, our CEO, can answer that for us. Peter?
So the question was, what do you see how drone plays a role in 5 years from now on? So I can see that in our industry, which is construction, I can see that the drone pilot will be like a robot, meaning that drone will be placed in a small box where it charges, where it actually stays, and without human intervention, we can just command drone and it will just fly from that box and it will actually start to take photos and send the photos to our server seamlessly. So these kind of automation you will see more often, not even 5 years from now, but even about 1 or 2 years from now on. And even there are other companies who also innovate in this area where they actually automate entire process of drone flight as well as to data sending to server. And another big trend you will see, I probably imagine that there will be a flying car is going to be also ready to be also ride. So I'm very excited about those kind of projects. One of my dreams is to actually build a flying car. And I'm actually taking a very interested look on those in the industry as well. And there are already a lot of companies working on that feature, working on that area as well. So drone will become much more autonomous as well as much more safe, and also now carries human as well as the bigger objects to one place to the another. The sky is open place, it's not limited. So it will be a big game changer in the entire industry. A few other stuff, drone will become a much more sophisticated, has an AI to detect as well as to avoid objects simultaneously while it captures the data. So a lot of the automatic capturing data process will be part of the AI process. So if there's a data that is actually not captured in certain region, it will actually use AI to detect it before it actually lands and start to send the data, but actually in the air. So all this kind of changes we will see in the drone field as well as the robotics field. And I think there's a trend that it actually uses AI to decide and AI to actually act upon a certain situation much more autonomously. I hope that answered your question.
Okay, thank you, Peter. We have a question from the audience from Ferry Adrian and Andrian. So the question is, how do you handle application development on AWS to cover users from another region? For example, if a user from BNPP is accessing a platform from Jakarta, it would be slower if the service is located in AWS Seoul compared to AWS Singapore. Maybe Yogi, our lead backend engineer, can answer this question. Yogi.
Okay, so thank you, Ferry, for the question. So ideally, we should serve our service on the regions to which the user is closest to. However, in this case, because this BNPB project is still a single project or like a one-off project, we haven't really do the deploying the service in different regions. So for now, this project just accessing our service through the AWS Seoul. And I don't think it has too much performance implication, but if later on we expand our business to Indonesia and has a lot of clients and projects in Indonesia, obviously we will do deployments based on the regions, and it can be handled easily using the CI/CD pipeline that we have developed. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you, Yogi. So there was another question from the audience about the application process. So we are currently going through a screening process of all the applications that we've received, including the applications that we received through the RSVP form. So following this event, we will follow up with all the applicants individually, and you will be able to sort of get feedback on us regarding the application process from them. Maybe one of the questions that have been asked in the RSVP form is, how does Angelswing build and maintain their teammates and team members? Maybe Yogi, as the lead backend engineer, you can sort of elaborate on how you can really well manage your teammates.
Okay, so I'm not sure if there is like a single answer, but I will try. So obviously, as I mentioned in my in the slide, so same with remote, and for the team members that are on site, using issue tracking system, documentation, and written communication like Slack is really important because to reduce redundant communication as like meeting or having to talk directly to people. But at the same time, it's also necessary to maintain that human relationship. So you need to not keep just like pushing for deadline or just like forcing people to like finish something but by a certain time, but also try to understand what are the things that they are struggling with, and trying to give your insight, although you are not like fully involved in what they are working on. But if you can at least like give different perspective just based on your understanding, I think it will be helpful to help your team members. I think that will be my answer. I hope that answers the question, whoever asked that.
Okay, thank you, Yogi, for the answer. We have a question from Ezra Maria. She asked maybe a question directed to Peter. Peter mentioned in his talk about detection of dumps and wastage and calculating the volume within our platform. What is the goal of this procedure in the bigger picture? So maybe Peter can answer this for us.
So this project was actually, we worked together with World Bank, and they asked us to use satellite images to detect dump site in Cambodia. So we've been able to receive many satellite images in Cambodia's capital city, as well as a few other regions. And then we are using our eyes to detect a dump site. The reason why they wanted to detect those dump sites is to address those issues, because these dump sites actually are becoming bigger problems in the entire world, because this dump site sometimes disappears, sometimes reappears around the riverside. And when there's actually monsoon season, the monsoon take away all those garbages, trashes into the ocean in the end. So the ocean plastic issue is actually a big world problem that the World Bank wants to address, and also show what is actually real to the governments of Cambodia, as well as the companies who are producing those products and trashes in Cambodia. So that's actually something that they want to have real data at their hand to measure, as well as to inform other peoples. So that was actually the procedure that they wanted to take. And one of the reasons why we actually conduct this project is because we also believe that technology plays a big role to address societal issues. For example, a dump, as well as to disaster, environmental problems. And I believe the drone technology plays a huge role in near future with our platform, as well as with our services. We can address those issues. And I believe that what we make can change the world in a better place. I think that's actually very meaningful for someone who actually makes a product. So that's the reason why we also focusing on these kind of problems. And 2020, we couldn't do much of those kind of social problem solving. But in 2021, we are going to actively participating in those kind of events to show our product to the world as well. These are the things that we can produce. And these examples will actually set the tones of, well, technology plays a big role to address several issues, and we are the one who actually plays that. So that's something that we have in our mind, and we're very excited about 2021. We are already working on the Indonesia earthquake issues that happened recently, and we're having another session tomorrow to meet with the BNPB personals, and yeah, very excited about the entire process and procedures.
Okay, thank you, Peter. So what's really special about Angelswing is that we not only focus on producing industrial value in terms of our product, but we really focus on creating social value as well, making social impact. And we take both things very seriously here at Angelswing. So we are always looking for these projects and these different methods and ways in which we can utilize our product to contribute to the world and contribute to societies that are needing this product and needing sort of, especially in terms of the aerial imagery, and maybe these can be really insightful data sets that can be provided for disaster relief and whatnot. And so these are really things that Angelswing has been focusing on. So yeah, I think that is really one of our greatest strengths here at Angelswing. So we're running a little longer than scheduled, so it's a little past 2 here in Korea. So we will wrap up our last session. And if you have any follow-up questions or any comments, please direct them to our recruit email account that is in the event Notion page. And so we will be happy to answer your questions. Regarding applicants, we will follow up with you shortly after the event. And maybe we can close the event with the closing remarks from Peter.
Thank you, Jackie, for testing on the mic. And thank you guys for taking interest in our company and actually join this session. And I'm very glad to meet you all. And I'm planning to meet you guys in person as well. And we truly believe that what we make can change the world to a better place. And we are actually going to pursue that as well as actually to create industrial value as well. So if you are interested in about our mission and as well as about our product team, as well as about our vision, it's a great time to apply to our company as well as to meet some of the great engineers from our team. So happy to see you in the interviews in the future. And there's actually a link that's actually where you can apply and it's actually on the chatting page. So why don't you actually submit your request and we'll see you. Thank you guys.
All right, thank you everyone. Have a great rest of the day.
Bye-bye.